we're getting closer to building the enclosures at our facility, Ed and I have agreed to take in a few more animals from fans who are unable to keep them for various reasons. And we're doing it now because that way when the display enclosures for the zoo are ready for animals, their quarantines should be over. So today we are unboxing in 3 different parts because they're arriving on 3 different days. In part 1 of this video, we are going to open this gray-banded king snake that just arrived. This snake is coming to us from a viewer named January and her household. Oh, she did a good job packing it. I don't think she's shipped many animals before, so she's doing a great job so far. Oh wow, there's a whole note in here with him. That's awesome. There's so much information in here. His name is Sorfang from the orc in World of Warcraft, which is awesome. He's pretty slow and lumbering most of the time. He doesn't seem to ever get agitated or anxious. And this is the reason why January had to rehome him. He will only eat live. So that January got this guy from a show, but because he only eats live and they were new snake owners, it just didn't work out with them. But they've had him for about a year. And here he is. Hey, Sorfang. Oh, wow. You are beautiful. Oh my goodness. Okay. I see what she means by slow and lumbering. Hi, cutie. Can I take you out? Would you mind if I did? This is such a beautiful species of snake. Hey, dude. How was shipping? Aww. He is gorgeous. He seems a little stiff to the touch, so I think he's still kind of recovering from shipment and jostling. I mean, this could be the slow-moving personality she was talking about. Oh, you're moving around a little bit more. That's good. I think the reason why he seems a little bit shocked right now is because when I saw the FedEx delivery guy bringing this to our door, he was spinning it by the corners of the box. He was spinning. Really? Yeah. Yeah,
Did you go and yell at him?
I did. I ran outside and I said, "There's a live animal in there." And he goes, "Oh, cool. What kind?" No thoughts of he was just spinning a live animal at all. So thankfully I've never seen him before, and I hope he's just temporary.
I guess I would call FedEx today and tell him, "Hey, can you not send that guy who came out to my house today? Because he was spinning a live animal in a box."
Spun the box. We've never had that issue before, thankfully. And he seems okay. He seems okay. But yeah, that was not a fun thing to see. So I actually let Sorfang's box sit for a couple of hours so we could kind of settle after that. He seems like he's a little bit confused, but he seems healthy otherwise. You're like kind of a stiff-bodied snake, aren't you? His tongue is 3 different colors.
Is it?
Yeah, it's pink at the base, black in the middle, and white at the tip. That's awesome! Okay, I have to do the mandatory mic check. I know you're not gonna like it. He doesn't seem to care. Do your forks not come in all the way? Did you forget about the tip of your tongue there? Maybe he just wants to have a fang because his name is Sorfang.
Yeah.
Do you want to look like the orc too? Here, can you suck in that tongue? There. Oh, no. Is your tongue just too long for your mouth? He's got such big googly eyes. Oh, there you go. You pulled it in that time. That is a cool little snake. The main reason why January wasn't able to keep him or didn't feel comfortable keeping him is because of the fact that he only eats live. And gray-banded kings have kind of a specialized diet in the wild, so they can be picky eaters. In the wild, gray-bandeds eat primarily lizards, so it can be tough to get them on a rodent diet in captivity, and they're more likely to eat live than frozen thawed when it comes to rodents. So what we might try to do, because the concern here was since he doesn't strike his prey very well, if his prey item is increased in size, then it might risk damaging him by, a rodent defending itself might bite the snake. That's why we always try to feed frozen thawed whenever possible. So my plan for him, and I've been kind of thinking about what to do, but what I think I'll try first is frozen thawed. We'll see if he takes it. If not, then I'm going to try scenting frozen thawed with a lizard, just to get him on frozen thawed, and then reduce the amount of scenting to see if that works. Well, there you go, January. He made it safe and sound, and we cannot wait to have him on display in the zoo portion portion of our facility. He will be a really neat addition. We can have an informational sign all about them next to his enclosure so people can learn all about gray-banded king snakes. And because of his docile personality, once we can get him regularly eating frozen thawed, we might be able to introduce him to programs too. I wouldn't want to stress him out though with programs before he's eating frozen thawed regularly though. Well, I'm going to set this cutie up into quarantine and wait for the next package to come, which I think is tomorrow. We just got the second animal in the mail today, and it is a giant Vinegaroon. But the interesting thing is that it was sent to us in a USPS box. I don't quite know exactly why it was sent like this. Like, I'm curious on if it was from the sender, Hunter, who sent this animal to us, or if it was from someone. Do you think it was from with the USPS who did this?
Maybe. The only thing I can think
but
is
it says this.
They hold it by those handles.
Yeah.
So it's going to make sure that the animal stays upright.
Oh, maybe Hunter did it for that.
Yeah.
That'd be genius,
Unless
Hunter.
somebody at the USPS did it. We always get stuff through FedEx, so.
Yeah, that is true. It's kind of interesting though. There is a tag on here that says non-human species. Just in case you were wondering if there was a baby in here.
Yeah.
It's not a baby. So let's open up this giant Vinegaroon. Here we go. Yeah, that is a good way to keep it upright and not tilted at all in transit. Oh, there's a letter in there. I'm super excited for you to have this giant Vinegaroon. I've enjoyed having her for the last 11 months. Aw, when I heard you were looking for some inverts, I knew that I should send her to you. Hunter, this was so nice of you to think of us, by the way. I cannot wait to have her on display in the facility. Oh, hey, and Hunter, who sent us this, has his own YouTube channel as well. It's called Hunter Hauk. Go check it out. Oh, is she in a mealworm container? Oh, that'd be adorable. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Hi, cutie.
Oh yeah, definitely a girl.
Definitely a girl. So these, although they may look scary, they actually are very docile. And how in the world did Hunter get you in this container? Oh, she's using those front legs. So these long, thin legs up front are actually modified legs to be more feelers than legs that support the body. So she's totally feeling this feather with them to check it out and see what it is. Can you move forward? Come on. She's a little scared, so I'm gonna let her come out on her own time, and that's totally cool with me. Oh, do you like the cup? Do you feel comfort in the cup? There. Hi, little girl. Oh my gosh. Last time I held one of these was at a Tinley show.
Yeah.
She is super cool. These have so many modified body parts, guys. You've probably already noticed this, but on the end of her abdomen extends this long tail-like structure. That is actually used as a sensor of pheromones and smells and vibrations. So that helps them kind of detect things around in their surroundings. And these long, thin arms she's been waving around are modified legs to be more feelers, kind of like a cat's whiskers to help them find where they're going. But they're not blind. They do have eyes. They have 2 eyes in the front of their head, and then clusters of 3 eyes on each side of their head. So they have a total of 8 eyes. And then finally, I mean, they have just 2 main body segments. They have, instead of a head, thorax, and abdomen like insects have, those 3 body segments.
Head, thorax, abdomen.
Abdomen, head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen. Okay, there's a whole song that I'm not going to sing for you on camera because that'd be really cringeworthy.
I think you should.
No, not right now. If you guys want me to sing the insect song, I will later. Anyway, instead of the 3 body parts, the Vinegaroon has 2, just like tarantulas and scorpions. Their head and their thorax are both combined into a single segment called a cephalothorax. And then finally, in the front of their body, these large appendages here are modified pedipalps, which you would find normally in tarantulas. And these are enlarged and more claw-like in structure because it helps them catch and subdue their prey. It's actually the claws or the pinchers here and the abdomen that you look at in order to sex Vinegaroons. The claws or pinchers here are much smaller in females than males, and the abdomen, though, is much larger in females than it is in males. You checking me out? Look at her just feel my wrist. She's so delicate in how she moves. Aw, they are very unlikely to pinch you with their front claws. Instead, their main defense mechanism is actually to spray you with an 80 to 85% acetic acid solution from the base of their abdomen right here. And that's one of the ingredients in vinegar, which is why they are called Vinegaroons. So basically when they're scared, they just spray and make you smell like vinegar. I always thought that these were like an aggressive species just because I saw that they have these pinchers in the front of their body. But then I found out that they are incredibly friendly. She reminds me of like a lobster.
Yeah, you can see that.
Although males only live 7 to 8 years, females can live up to 20. So it's kind of like with tarantulas where the females just live significantly longer. So we will have her for a very long time. I believe she's only a couple years old max by the sounds of it. And we'll be able to have her on display at the facility in our invert wall, which I can't wait for. She's a species that I never thought we would have, honestly. But thanks to Hunter, now we can teach all sorts of people about them. And knowing how friendly they are, we can let other people possibly hold her too.
Do we set her up in her enclosure?
Sure, let's get her in her habitat. This is one of Zilla's new invertebrate enclosures. And since this is a burrowing species, we had to put enough substrate to actually go past where the base is down here, because they need like 4 to 6 inches of substrate to burrow in, but it seems to be holding it just fine. And I think this will be a great habitat for her. I should send a picture of her to Grace. I'm going to include the text. It's not a spider, so it's okay. For those of you who don't know, my sister is terrified of spiders, but this isn't a spider. It's an arachnid, so I feel like it's safe to send her a Snapchat of it. Another fun thing about Vinegaroons is they can hang upside down. They have a really good grip. It's so cool to see her feelers reach just everywhere she wants to check out. Yeah. It's like her way of speaking without speaking. Like, I see she's checking out my finger here, and without those feelers, I'd have no idea what she's inspecting. Here you go. Check out your cork bark. Aw, I love her already. Maybe we'll do a Vinegaroon care sheet or care video too. That'd be fun. Mm-hmm. After the tarantula, because we still have to do a tarantula.
Yeah, we still have to do a tarantula one.
Mm-hmm. Hunter, thank you so much for the giant Vinegaroon. She is incredible. We've just been like watching her move for like the last 15 minutes because it's so fascinating the way she like feels everything around her. So she made it safe and sound. Thank you again. She will definitely be a part of our display, and with how friendly she is, she'll probably be a part of our programs too, if that's okay with you. So this is the second animal we'll be unboxing for today's video, and the third, which are some frogs, will be shipped in 3 days. So we'll get them in 4 days. So we'll see you in 4 more days. And we have our final package for today, the white tree frogs. These came to us from a viewer named Zach, who is specializing more in geckos than frogs, so he thought they would fit in well with our collection and then being on display at the facility as well. So nice of him to think of us. Okay. Aww! He sent us a sticker! That's such a cool sticker. That's gonna have to go on our racks. Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
oh, one got out.
One got out. Oh, that must have been the Australian blue face.
So mad.
This isn't cork bark. I don't like the styrofoam.
Styrofoam all over my side.
I'm sorry, dude. I love how flabby white tree frogs are. He doesn't want to come. Okay, he's just gonna sit there, I guess, until we can take him out. Oh my gosh, look at these roly-poly frogs. We've got our Indonesian here, and then the other Australian. That's so cool. We have 2 different species that he actually raised up from tadpoles. So these are nice, big, healthy frogs. Let's take a look. My hands have been sprayed down with dechlorinated water. This is the Indonesian. Oh my goodness. Look at your forehead flabs. Oh, now that's a frog.
Yes, it is.
You are so, so cute. So Zach said that these will on very rare occasions, even eat small pinkies.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like how big and ravenous they are. But of course, pinkies are a very occasional treat. But these white tree frogs, they're just full of personality. And I've never owned them before. I have some experience taking care of them, but they will like leap across the cage to get their food, and apparently...
He wants to hang out with his buddy.
Is this the cool place to be? You just want to chill in the styrofoam box? Let's get this off of you. Oh my gosh. Hi, oh my goodness, I know. We have an 18 by 18 by 24 inch Exoterra all set up for them, so that should be good for this trio. Okay, well, you're just gonna keep on jumping. Come here. Let's put you in the deli for now. Here's the other Australian. Oh my goodness, you're extra flabby. You're just gonna climb right, okay. Is that where you wanna sit? Oh, so they're kind of clumsy. You are so Flabby and cute. These are also referred to as the dumpy tree frog because of how rolly they are and because of the like lumps they develop on their heads sometimes. And what I really like about these tree frogs is that, I mean, they're big. This is one of the largest species of tree frogs that's often kept in captivity. Like, he just nestled down in my hand. Did you see that? He's like, I'm comfy right here. Don't poke my side. And as you can see, they are very, very tolerant of handling.
Hey, dude.
Hi.
You were the one who escaped during travel.
How was your adventure outside of the deli? Like other amphibians, they drink through their skin because they have semi-permeable skin. So by misting their bodies down, you actually rehydrate the animal.
What is like blue speckles on the top of his head?
Yeah, that's gorgeous. Oh yeah. Oh, there we go.
The...
Oh my gosh, he's super jumpy. Oh, jeez. Oh god. Calm down. Calm down. Okay.
No! I must escape all the time!
Every family has that one sibling. Are you comfortable sitting on top of the head of your brother or sister?
It's so comfy right now.
The two on the outside here are the Australian white tree frogs, and the one in the middle, which is jumping everywhere, is the Indonesian white tree frog. He also has these larger, more noticeable lumps on his head. So we have one that likes to escape. You guys...
They're like, oh, is this what we're doing now?
No! Stop jumping! Here, what if you... Nope. No, come here. Really? This is gonna be impossible, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna put these guys in their new Exoterra. I just filled it up with some cork bark and things to climb on. So we're gonna let them settle in and probably try offering food in a day or two after they've had time to get accustomed to their new home. Ed's gonna put the other two back, because they were the ones that like to jump. And then he just took off. So, come here. There. Oh, you're so cute. Look at that face. Oh my goodness. Zach, thank you so much for these adorable frogs. We're gonna have a lot of fun with these and maybe include them, well, for sure include them in some videos in the future, as well as on display at our facility. And thank you, January, for the wonderful gray-banded king snake. He seems to be settling in quite well, because now we've had him for about a week, because it took a while to film this video, but the gray-banded king snake seems to be doing really well. And finally, thank you, Hunter, for the Vinegaroon. She has been wonderful as well. She's burrowing in her enclosure, digging all around, and getting settled in too. So thank you, everybody, for your generosity and for thinking of us for these animals that you were no longer able to keep. I promise we will take very good care of them and use them in educational programs and videos wherever possible. As always, thank you to our Patreon backers as well for all of your amazing generosity and support. And thank you to everybody watching our videos and learning more about reptiles and also amphibians and inverts too, now that we're branching out a little bit. We'll keep you posted on how all of these new additions are doing, and we'll see you next time. Oh, intense frog stare.
Yeah. Oh, draw me like one of your French ladies.